Hi, my name is Mike. Welcome to my vlog about football in general and Burnley FC in particular. A vlog that this week has spent far too much time pondering the question, when does the world's largest Brussels sprout become the world's smallest cabbage? So, the first game that I've managed to get to for about 6 weeks, away at Preston, and I'll be honest with you, it is still 48 hours on and I am still bloody annoyed by that one. There are lots of little things that kind of annoy me about this one. First off, straight from the start, let's turn around and say Preston were thoroughly deserved winners. More organised, more physical, wanted it more, all that stuff, and it feels in hindsight that the Clarets kind of chucked this one in, and I'll talk a little bit more about why that is disappointing in a bit. As for the game itself, I thought actually it was kind of weird. I went to, first time I've been to Deepdale actually since we lost, I think, 6-0 in the Sherpa Van semi-final, was it? About 1990, something like that. First time I've been there. Still an artificial pitch back then. And, I got there, the atmosphere, even though it's a local rivalry, even though it's, a local derby and so on and so forth, the atmosphere was, really nice. I took photos of the most excellent sculpture there, the splash. Took some great photos of that. The two sets of fans are mingling, no hassle or whatever. Great atmosphere, sunny day. And then I saw the team sheet and I thought, actually, that's not a bad team. I know that we're allegedly concentrated on the league and promotion's the important thing and whatever, but I thought that was a strong team. And then when I got in the ground, I'm kind of looking at the pitch and I'm like, oh, okay. That was a pitch that I have not seen in such a poor condition for a professional game of football since maybe the early 2000s at latest. There was mud all over the place, and then when they had the sprinklers on, it was purely in the half the Clarets were going to be playing in, so they were soaking that something chronic. And that was when I began to think this is not going to go particularly well. As I say, in terms of the lineup, I think it was as expected, as we kind of figured it would be. No Egan Riley, but we did have a Stev. I kind of figured we'd have one, but not both. Koleosho out on the wing, Benson out on the other wing. Between them, put one on top of the other, they barely cracked 10 foot. Up against a physical, nearly full-strength Preston side, they were never going to get anything done. And I can't help but feel that they were kind of... Okay, they did not play well. But it kind of felt a little bit like they were sent out to die as well. And I'm not particularly happy about that. But kind of talking about the game, what do we say? Brady's goal, really nice free kick. We saw him do that for Clarets. We saw him do it. I saw people sort of complaining about Hladky on that one. Why? Because we saw Robbie Brady do that to Thibaut Courtois when he was playing at Chelsea. So if Brady can do it to that kind of, world-class goalkeeper, he can certainly do it to Burnley's backup. And then the second one scored by that particular player, because that's the kind of day it was. That's the kind of thing that is going to happen. He cooked, he gave us the celebration. Actually, Brady, come to think of it, gave us the most obvious celebratory non-celebration I've ever seen. He made sure that he looked back at us, where our fans had been giving him a bit of jip and have given him jip before, and made sure that we knew that he wasn't celebrating, but really he was, kind of thing. I was like, whatever. But I don't have a problem with that. That other player, Mr. Bitey, he gave it us, so we got to him. He got a very loud chant. I'm obviously not going to repeat it, but we got to him, and I don't have a problem with that. But 2-0 down at half-time, everyone's like, this isn't going to happen. And then in the second half, it just, whatever Scotty's motivational team talk as usual at half-time did to the team, that kind of screwed the rest of it up. And then we conceded a third. And the third was a pretty good example of the problem I have with the way that the manager sets this team up to play. I want to say, it's not entirely on him. The players did not play particularly well, but then they didn't really have the right chance against a team that was very much up for it, that has nothing to play for in terms of league position, so could concentrate on this. But having said that, the players did not play well, but the tactical problems with the manager's tactics got shown up. Preston had a plan for attack. I'm back on that hobby horse again. Skip the next 2 minutes if you think you've heard it before. I'm back on that again. Preston had a plan. It wasn't a pretty plan. You know, sling it into the box for the big guy. Fine. But it's a plan. Whereas we don't have a plan. We don't have a plan at all. Our players, they get the ball, they run forward, they get to the edge of the penalty area, they stop and they look out and they try and work out what the heck they're going to do next. Because there is no plan. Miles Foster trying, sometimes very trying, but trying all the way through the game, playing through the middle. There was a point in the second half, he's basically running through. He's got the ball, he's got 2 defenders with him, and for some reason the Claret who was in support, I think it might have been Fleming, runs literally alongside him. I mean, that is the indicator that those players, whether it's Foster with the ball or more importantly the player who didn't have the ball, I think it was Ivan Fleming, don't have an idea what to do. They haven't been told what to do. If you go back to the Ashley Barnes Crystal Palace goal, you know the one I mean, the last minute winner. You see him charge the ball down and then play it out wide because he knows that Gudmundsson is going to be out there because that is what they've been told to do on that kind of situation. Whereas we've got 2 players who run into the same space because they don't know what they're supposed to do. That was the problem. We were hitting these long balls over the midfield that was non-existent. Preston's third came from a long ball into the channels. They knew what they were doing. It was a long diagonal ball to be crossed into the middle for someone to finish. They had a plan. Yet again, we did not. Our plan was for, in the first half, Koleosho to force a mistake, to run through one-on-one and put it in the back of the net. Koleosho is devoid of, I want to say, confidence or something. His problem is his brain is far faster than his feet. But again, he's not being coached. He's not being told what to do. He's not being given guidance. And a fantastic talent is going to waste. Yeah, of course, we inevitably had the substitution of Mr. Bitey, replaced by Ched Evans, of all people. It occurred to me that then the substitution should have been announced as coming off alleged racist, coming on alleged rapist. And then the game kind of peters out and I'm kind of stuck with being annoyed. Not helped, by the way, by being in the stand with, and this wasn't anyway reflective of the away travel as a whole, but I was particularly near a set of banter wankers, giving it the Mike Trezor song before kick-off. So smart. You're there slagging off your own players. You know, you're there slagging off Mike Trezor for reasons you don't know. You're there slagging off a player whose last appearance at the club was when you were just showing the signs of starting puberty. I mean, what is the point of slagging off your own players? You know, like that, with a song like that, in favour of John Joe Shelby, who, to be honest, didn't have a great game. If you're trying to make a cult hero out of somebody, you might want to let him try and be the cult hero first. He's only played, like 30 minutes or something. So I didn't like that. I heard the Jack Walker song again. Grow up. Just grow up. Even when I was a young and a dickhead, I did not sing that one. And then, the third goal goes in and lots of people leave. Now, I have no problem with people leaving. I don't leave before the end of the game, no matter how bad it gets. And the reason for that is spite. It's basically, this is how bad it is, but I'm going to stay to the bitter end. I don't mind people leaving, actually. I don't have a problem with that. Never have. You know what I do have a problem with? People leaving and goading the home fans when they're leaving by flicking the V's. It's like, you're flicking the V's and running away. That's not making you look particularly good. You're walking away from it like a coward with 15 minutes to go. They're not the ones leaving with 15 minutes to go. but you're being the tough guy. You're not particularly... Since when was flicking the V's from the safety of 30 yards and then running away the act of a tough guy? But then again, these are the same people, and I've got on this before, these are the same people who stand in the cricket field stand, and you can see it on the highlights of every single goal we score at the cricket field end. These are the same people who, when the Clarets score, instead of directing their celebration at the pitch, at the players, immediately turn to goad the opposition fans. They're more interested in goading the opposition fans, turning to the right, than they are celebrating the goal in front of them. And that tells you everything you need to know. It tells you everything you need to know about these people. And they're the ones complaining that there's no atmosphere. Well, if that's the kind of atmosphere that you think is atmosphere, I don't want any part of that. So I go there and I support my team. I'm not there to rile somebody. I'm there to support my team. And that's the key difference. But yeah, that's kind of one of the annoyances. And reading afterwards, you know, lots of excuses, you know, lots of reasons. You know, people say, oh, it's a weakened team. You know, we're not interested. You know, the football wasn't great, but it's all about promotion. Okay, well, in a dull season of like this, we were 180 minutes away from a possible Wembley semi-final. Now, and with a very, very good chance of being 90 minutes away from a Wembley semi-final. Now, I know it's kind of like a hard last eight, and it was unlikely, but that is still something important. It's still something that this club has not done in decades. We haven't even been to Wembley since 2009. So, well, Spurs away don't count. It still matters. Yeah, if this was the third round, it doesn't matter. And the fact that the cup competition, the FA Cup, has been so devalued is a crying shame, because, you know, you look at the Plymouth fans who had a, you know, wonderful game against Liverpool that they're not going to forget. They had a great trip up to Man City. They scored first. You know, for 10 minutes the dream was on. Those are memories. Those are memories that you want as a football fan. And we kind of just chucked our opportunity in the bin. And for what? Oh, it's about avoiding injuries. Well, why are we throwing on Marcus Edwards with 20 minutes to go? Because clearly he is like the talisman. He is clearly... We are putting so much pressure on that guy to be our most important attacker. You know, if we're trying to avoid injuries, we're playing Maximus Stev. Oh, it's about promotion. It's about avoiding injuries. We're putting our eggs in one big basket. And that basket of promotion looks like it's going through the playoffs. And the playoffs are 3 cup finals. And we really, really need to get it perfect in all 3. Because, for sake of argument, let's say we go into the playoffs, as is likely. Let's say we go 2-0 down after the first leg. Does this look like a team that is going to pull a 2-0 deficit back? Because go back to the Sheffield Wednesday game. Yeah, we won 4-0. God, we were lucky. We should have been 2 down by the time Marcus Edwards scored. 2 at least. And then we should have been probably 2-1 down before Brownhill scored. And then Sheffield Wednesday collapsed like a souffle, and Benson scores his, you know, worldie to make it 4. But that was a flattering scoreline. And we can't keep getting away with it. And we can't keep going jam tomorrow. It's always going to be oh, don't worry, it'll be okay tomorrow against Cardiff. Really? Is that where we are? It'll be okay on Saturday against Luton. Luton haven't won away. They haven't won a game for like 3 months or something stupid like that. Well, they won last week. And Luton last year were in the Premier League. I know they're at the bottom now. But what's our record at home against teams at the bottom? We can't keep doing this. And this is what it comes down to. This is why Saturday was so disappointing, because it's been such a dull season. It's been a season of ignoring the things you're watching in the hope that it's going to get better. And then when the opportunity to get better comes along, the club chucked it in the bin. And it's not just the FA Cup game against Preston. You know, Leeds at home, 0-0. We played for a 0-0. You know, we got Sheffield United at home. We're going to play. Are we going to play for a 0-0 with 3 games to go? Oh, it's okay. We'll go into the playoffs. Well, suddenly you run out of road. And it happens. What's the phrase with bankruptcies? How did you end up being bankrupt? Slowly, then suddenly. How did you end up missing out on promotion? Very slowly. Then suddenly in the playoffs. 2 games, boom, gone. Maybe the next one I do, which is going to be next week, after Luton, maybe we're celebrating 6 points. Maybe we are. We should be. We ought to be. We ought to be expecting it to be. Why am I saying after 2 games against teams that are in the bottom 3 or 4, well, hopefully we've got 6 points. Why am I even saying that? Because that's what this season has done to me. So, not a particularly happy one this week, mainly because, like I say, you know, I pay money to go watch football. I want to enjoy my football. And, yeah, I get annoyed and disappointed at a result, but also I get annoyed and disappointed at the circumstances of a result, both on the pitch, in the way that we prepare and approach a game. And I understand, you know, I do understand the argument, you know, ultimately, the total prize money, I think, for winning the FA Cup, you know, every single round, plus the TV, you total all that up and it's less than 1 game you get in Sky, you know, in the Premier League. 1 game that Sky pay us is worth more than the entire FA Cup run, even if you win it. I understand that. But is that where football is these days? You know, is that where supporting your club, is that what it gets you? This idea that, oh, it's okay because the balance sheet is more important? Or sometimes you just want to just go for it. Win or lose, yeah, you're disappointed if you lose. Just go for it for once. Are we allowed to dream? That's all I ever want from football. Anyway, in the meantime, let's see how we go in Cardiff. I'll be there for Luton on Saturday. Let's hope this time next week, I'm doing a vlog and celebrating 6 points. Up the Clarets. If you enjoyed this vlog, then please click the like button. If you really enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button and spread the word. Tell your friends about the vlog. And I have over 50 covering the last 2.5 seasons. Enjoy, explore the channel, and I'll see you at the turf.